Hi, I'm Joshua Popenoe. Welcome to my 4 Elements pronunciation practice. This is the first part of a live weekly Zoom class I give for my online members. I present an interesting sentence or quote and then use the 4 elements as a framework to illustrate every aspect of pronunciation, making it easy to identify and focus on what needs to improve. The 4 elements are vowels, consonants, rhythm, and connection. Vowels are open sounds. The mouth is always open, never blocked, so nothing is touching inside the mouth. Consonants are closed sounds. There's some kind of contact using the tongue, lips, or teeth. Rhythm is made from syllables. Every vowel and the consonants surrounding it make a syllable. It's the smallest unit of speech that makes a word or joins together with other syllables to make longer words. Syllables are large and stressed or smaller and unstressed. Rhythm happens when you connect stressed and unstressed syllables together. Connection is about how to connect words smoothly in a natural flow, and phrasing is the timing and intonation that joins them together, giving them specific meaning. IPA stands for International Phonetic Alphabet, which has a unique symbol for every sound in English. Remember these words: vowel, consonant, rhythm, syllable, connection, phrasing, and IPA. This introduction was pre-recorded for perfection. The rest of the video will be live and spontaneous, so please enjoy the imperfection of a 100% non-AI human being, me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another practice session where we practice the 4 elements of pronunciation based on the sentence that I am providing you today. This sentence is by J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote Lord of the Rings, which is very, very famous trilogy of books and then movies. Lord of the Rings, you must have heard of that. And the quote today is, "It is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength of the spirit." I think that's easy to understand and something that you might believe. It is not the strength of the body that counts, it's the strength of the spirit. So let's look at the marked up sentence. Okay. So I've put all the marks that are important for the 4 elements. And the 4 elements, as we've talked about before, are rhythm, vowels, consonants, and connection. So I like to start with the macro and move to the micro, because even if your vowels and consonants are perfect, if the rhythm and phrasing is not right, people will not easily understand you, because we don't listen to detail, detail, detail. We listen to the flow of language. So the rhythm is so important in English because, as you know, we have stressed syllables, unstressed syllables, and that contrast has to be correct. If you don't have the right rhythm, people will not understand you. And then the flow of the phrasing is really important because it tells the listener these words go together. And again, a native speaker doesn't need to analyze what they're hearing, right? They don't go, oh, that's a vowel, that's a consonant, that's a stressed syllable. They don't even know what that stuff is if it's their own native language. They're just listening and they're catching the flow of language. So it's unconscious. So you need to have a good rhythm, connection, and flow for them to understand. That, in a way, is more important even than the perfection of the vowels and the consonants. The rhythm and flow. That's what helps somebody relax and listen. So, starting with the rhythm, as we've talked about before, stressed syllables, unstressed syllables. In this chart here, the lavender marks, the bigger marks, are the stressed syllables. The black smaller marks are unstressed syllables. The stressed syllables make a steady flow, which I call the rhythm frame. So the importance of that is that the rhythm frame, the stressed syllables make a steady, even flow, We have a lot of little syllables that fit in between, but the stressed syllables keep a steady, even flow. So it's helpful to tap them with your finger because not just your brain, this is a physical skill. So you're bringing your body into this. Okay, so we're going to start by tapping the stressed syllables, okay? So your finger is up for the first two. It is not. Now, there'll be maybe two, maybe three, maybe one little ones in between, but the stressed syllables keep a steady rhythm frame. That's the trick. So phrase by phrase, first phrase, it is not the strength of the body that counts. Try that. It is not the strength of the body that counts. Good. The second phrase also begins with two little ones. So, but the strength of the spirit. But the strength of the spirit. So keeping a steady rhythm frame stops you from getting distracted by more difficult words, easy words. So it's all kind of, there's a steady flow. One more time. It is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength of the spirit. Okay, and now the phrasing. There are two phrases in here. A phrase is basically putting together the words that go together. And there's a melody that helps the listener know da 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 da. So we know that these words go together. If you didn't have phrasing, you could just go, it is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength, you wouldn't get it. But the beautiful tone, the melody, and the intonation shows us that these words all go together. Listen how I do that. It is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength of the spirit, right? Very clearly, two phrases. Okay, try that after me. It is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength of the spirit. Okay, so in this recording, I don't need to go over every sentence 3 times to let you practice because you can watch the video and go over again as much as you want, which would be useful. So let's go on now. After the rhythm and the phrasing, we want to focus on the vowels, the stressed vowels. Here they are in red. You can see underneath we have the IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet, which has an individual letter or symbol for every vowel in English, every vowel and consonant. And the reason we need that is because in English, one vowel, one written vowel, A-E-I-O-U, can have many different pronunciations. And how do you know what it is? The only way to really know what it is, if you haven't learned it already, is to use the IPA. So in this case, you can see below the words in red on the stressed words is each IPA vowel. So those are the ones that have to be pronounced correctly. The other vowels are really small, like the schwa. It is not the very small. It doesn't have a specific shape. It's a little bit of an open space because it's a vowel, but this creates the rhythm that we want. So the stressed vowels are the ones you have to really learn to pronounce correctly, whether it's ah or ah or oh or ooh or ow, whatever it is. Those are the ones that need to be pronounced correctly. So the first one is not. That's a middle open vowel. Ah, not. And we have strength, which is a front middle vowel. Eh, like let, get, men, strength. Then we have body, same one again. Ah, body, ah, body. Then we have counts. This is a diphthong. Ow. Notice how I'm spreading, opening, coming around to a circle. Ow, counts. counts, right? Go around here. Then the next one we have strength again. Strength. And the last one is spirit. Spirit. Now, just as a note, the spelling is I in spirit, right? And for some of you, the letter I you pronounce as E. But in English, we have two. We have E and we have I. They're very close together, but we have like peak and pick, leave and live, feet and fit. So two different vowels. In this case, spirit. And in English, the letter I, the alphabet letter I, is usually not E. The sound E, like feet, is EE, right? F-E-E-T. Fit is F-I-T. Which, W-I-T-C-H. Which. So it's not E, it's I. And I know that could be confusing for some of you. So spirit. So there aren't a lot of stressed vowels in this sentence, and they're pretty much the same. Ah, and ow. Now, every technique, every vowel, every consonant, you can learn them in detail in my online course. So just go to the link, check it out. There are videos for instruction and practice for every vowel, every consonant, rhythm, connection, everything. Today, I'm just trying to give you this understanding of how the four elements work together for pronunciation. All right, the next thing is consonants. So we have T, t, unvoiced. It is, however, when it's connected, it's voice. It is. We'll talk about connection in a minute. And then is, spelling is S, but pronunciation is Z. You can see below the letter, right? Is. And then not, N, na, tongue on the tooth ridge, na, T, tongue on the tooth ridge, not, not. And we have the, which is voiced, TH. TH can be voiced or unvoiced. In this case, you have your voice. It's called a fricative consonant because it's made by friction. Your voice flows through the space between your tongue and somewhere here, the. Then we have strength, S-T-R, strength. That word we did last week, string, N-G, and then K, stop, and then T-H, strength. That ends with the unvoiced TH, right? Strength. The one before the was voiced. This is unvoiced. Then of. Spelling is O-F, but the pronunciation is V, which is voiced. Same technique. Consonants come in pairs, most of them. F, top teeth, bottom lip, unvoiced. V, top teeth, bottom lip, makes a vibration of. Then we move into the again, of the. V is voiced, TH is voiced again. Of the body. B is the lips, voiced. And then D, da. D and T are a pair. T is unvoiced, t. D is voiced, da. Same physical technique. D is voiced, T is unvoiced, body. Then we have voiced TH again, that. Oh, in this case, I'm not saying that, I'm saying that because it's reduced. It's smaller. It's a schwa that counts. End of the phrase, but the. That's just like not the in the first line, but the. I'll explain about the T stop in a moment. T followed by voice TH, strength again. Then we have strength of, V again, of the, just like above, of the, and spirit. S is a fricative consonant, unvoiced, followed by P, which is the lips. Remember, we just did B, B. It's another pair. P is unvoiced. B is voiced. B. Same technique. One is voiced, one is unvoiced. Spirit. All right. So now let's talk about connection. So when you learn a word alone, that's one way to practice. But when you put words together, things change. because we need to connect smoothly and flow. So in some cases where you might pronounce something, you don't pronounce. It flows into the next, or you stop. That's why learning connection, understanding it, is another important element of the 4 elements. So the first is it is. Now we knew it, right? If you just said it, T, but it is a T tap. That's where I indicate with the red line. It is. You can hear that that T is very light. It's not t, it is. It is, right? It's a light brushing and a flow. It is not. And then we have the other one. Not ends with a T as well. That is a T stop. So when T is at the end of a syllable or one syllable word followed by a consonant, TH, we do not release it. We do not release. We do the first part, we stop, and then we move to the next sound. Not the, right? I'm not releasing it. That's called a T stop. And I indicate that with the red line after the T, not the. Then we have strength. Talked about that before. Strength, but we're connecting now. Blue line is to encourage you to connect, not strength of, strength of, strength of. So what I mean by connecting is keep your voice flowing. Don't stop your voice. Strength of. It's like singing. When you sing, you don't break your voices, but speech is another form of singing. You could call it that. It has melody, it has flow, it has rhythm, just like singing would be. Strength of. Okay, then you have of the. Of the. These are tricky. If you learn the technique of all of them, the V, and then the, then you have to practice connecting. So I'm doing the top teeth, bottom lip, of the. Keep your voice flowing, of the. Not breaking, of the. Strength of the. Strength of the body. Body. That's pretty easy to connect. Body, right? Strength of the body. Keep your voice flowing. Then strength of the body that counts. So again, that, the vowel is smaller. It's the schwa, the little one, that counts. So you have a T stop. I'm not going that stop, go into the next one without a break. That counts. That counts. So that vowel is really small, but counts. Stressed syllable, stressed vowel, you have to pronounce that vowel fully. That counts. Next phrase, but the. Same as above when we did not the. This is but the. And but, again, is very small. But the. But the. If you look at the vowel alone, it would be like but or come or sun. But in this position as a small unstressed syllable, but really becomes but because it's fast. But the. T stop again into TH, but the strength. Again, we have strength and we're connecting strength of again. Strength of. Blue line means keep connecting. Strength of. Strength of the spirit. Strength of the, that's an important one to practice. V followed by TH, of the spirit. Now, T at the end of a phrase or sentence, we mostly use a T stop again. I could have put a red line there, but we don't go spirit. We go spirit. We stop. Okay, so it's a T stop at the end. Like if I see you on the street, I go, hey, wait. Hey, wait. I don't go, hey, wait. We stop. All right. So putting them all together, let's practice. We'll do it 2 times. Repeat after me. You can tap if you want. That's always helpful. Keep your voice flowing, whatever you do, and feel that rhythmic phrase, the phrasing and the melody. Repeat after me. It is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength of the spirit. One more time. It is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength of the Spirit. All right. So thank you very much. I want to give you this introduction to how the four elements all work together to pronounce English well. Often pronunciation classes focus on a word, but it's only when they come together in a phrase and they're flowing that the listener can easily understand it. So that's what I'm focusing on. And if you're interested in any of this, go ahead and check out my online course that has videos, instruction practice videos to teach, explain everything. And then, of course, you would be able to come to this class after this is over. I'll be working with my students. So if this is interesting to you, get in touch and let's work together. Thank you very much and see you next time. I hope that was helpful. Now I'll be working with my members for the rest of the live session. If you'd like to join us, work with me, and continue learning the four elements in detail, along with every technique you need to improve your English pronunciation, come join my online pronunciation membership, which includes over 100 videos teaching every technique you need for good English pronunciation. For more information, go to popenoemethod.com. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.